Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is the goddess of DC, the queen of the shameless plug herself, Mother Rayceen Pendarvis.
Wow, greetings and salutations all.
Yes, we're so happy to be here because we have a fabulous special guest with us, and we have the Deputy Executive Director of the LGBTQ Task Force, Kierra Johnson. Welcome.
Hi, family.
So happy to have you here. Tell me, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling
Awesome.
good. Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So happy to have you here. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you got involved with the LGBTQ task force.
Yeah, I've always been a social justice heart person. I think from the time I came out of the womb, probably. I started in reproductive justice work, abortion rights work. And was the executive director of Unite for Reproductive and Gender Equity for about 10 years. And then I needed a break. I did not want to be the boss. And the one place I could think of where I wouldn't mind following somebody else was the National LGBTQ Task Force. And Ray Carey and I have been friends for a long time. And I was really eager to move into a different movement, learn from new people, have some new challenges, and not have to be the bottom line boss for a little while.
I see, I see. I love that. I love that. And for our viewers who don't know, tell us a little bit about the LGBTQ task force, how it got started, and the goals of the LGBTQ task force.
Yeah, the task force has been around since 1973. It's the oldest advocacy activist organization in the country, and we continue to work from those roots. We are an organization that is about engaging LGBTQ people, their families, and allies to secure full liberation for folks in our community. And specifically for us, we work to bridge the intersections between the LGBTQ movements and other social justice issues. So prison reform, housing access, reproductive justice, immigrant rights work. That's the place where we get really excited and where we feel like we really fill the gaps.
Oh, love that, love that.
And that's so important. That's wonderful. And I know as you move into your new position, which is an amazing thing, are you the first woman of color to hold that position?
I am not the first woman of color, but I am the first Black woman to be holding the position.
How about that?
I know, right?
So, it's so important. And when you talk about change and stepping into new shoes and stepping into a new year, right, coming up soon, as we step into a new year, a new beginning, all of the things that you think of the LGBT task force, and you think about the big conference that you put on. Tell us about that big conference you do every year.
Yes, Creating Change is our annual conference, and it generally moves to a different city every year. The next one is coming up in January 2021. It's actually the 28th through the 31st of January. And this is a 4 to 5 day conference where people come from all over the country, from all walks of life. So we get philanthropists and activists and students and sex workers and performers and you name it. We all come together, and it is an opportunity for us to think together, to strategize together, to celebrate each other. We have a fantastic drag show that is just insanity.
Yes.
But we also do workshops that are about providing skills, right, to the folks in
Mhm.
our community around engaging in advocacy and lobbying and those kinds of things as well. So it is, we like to call it the family reunion. And it is, this year or next year, 2021, it's going to be virtual. So we're
Wow.
excited because we think we're going to be able to engage a lot more people that might not
Yes.
be able to afford travel or don't have the
Mhm.
time to travel. So we're really looking forward to it.
And that's so
Speaking,
important.
it is. And speaking of that, you mentioned that it's virtual.
Yeah.
So, of course, adaptations had, have had to happen. Tell me how, this big year of 2020, we're at the tail end of it now. How did the LGBTQ task force have to adapt to, the ongoing pandemic of 2020? How did things have to change and be restructured and everything?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. One of the things that we had to do was actually acknowledge that things are not business as usual,
Yeah.
right? And that's hard, right? Like, we have a staff full of overachievers, right? Like perfectionists, people who are like, we have work to do and our community is depending on us. And they're used to performing right at 120%, right? So all of a sudden, for so many reasons, right? Like people can't perform at 120% and frankly can't even perform at 100%. And we're
Mhm.
lucky if people can perform at 75%, right? And just reminding people that this is what it looks like, right? We have to be mindful of our own health and wellness. We can't ignore the realities of our situations. We're going to do good work and we can't hold ourselves to a standard of 12 months ago because none of us are the same as 12 months ago, and my guess is we'll never be the same again.
Yes, yes, yes. Very
And everything
important.
is change and just like creating change.
That's exactly right. It's not called creating normal because there is no normal. People are like, maybe when we go back to normal. I was like, there's that actually doesn't exist. There is no
Yeah.
go back to normal. It is
Hmm.
always about evolving,
Yes.
right? It is always about learning from the past
Mm.
and the present and figuring out what are we going to take forward, right? Into our new realities, right?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
another adaptation for us has been learning how to do everything virtually, right?
Mm.
So this will be our first time doing creating change on video. We had a gala that we've always done live. We did it by video. We're doing all kinds of trainings and workshops, and we're just a few months ago we were doing Queer the Census work, making sure LGBTQ people turned out and got counted. And our original plan was to be on the ground, right? Talking to people face to face, knocking on doors, canvassing, right? Doing in person trainings. And then all of a sudden, all of that changed.
Yeah.
And so we had to figure out how to do that in a way that we could social distance and still have impact. And I'm happy to say we were able to do it. People want to be in community, and even if the community looks like this,
Yes.
it matters and people show up.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Tell me, what's on the horizon as we look forward? What's on the horizon for the LGBTQ task force?
Yeah, I there are a couple of things, people are asking. I had someone ask me like, what do you want to do on your first, couple of weeks on the job? And I was like, I don't know, survive, that maybe that. But when I think about the future of the task force and the future of the movement, I fundamentally believe we have to double down on our racial equity and racial justice work. So I want to make sure that the task force continues, right, to build on its values of diversity, equity, and inclusion, but taking it to the next level, right? We can no longer rest in being comfortable. We've got to start having some uncomfortable conversations so that we can really make some moves and make some changes. Because I think that's the only way forward movement is going to happen for our movement. Double down. I want to double down on democracy work. I want to see the task force really go hard in making sure that LGBTQ people, and particularly LGBTQ folks of color, Black folks, trans folks of color, young people, are engaged civically, right? And I don't just mean in electoral politics. I mean integrated and woven into the very fabric of civic participation, right? We have power, and it's important that we recognize it and that we are ready to leverage that power, right? So I think there's a real opportunity for us to mobilize like never before, and I really want to see us take a big role in that.
I see you already. Your plan is so amazing. I feel your energy and I feel your love and I feel your commitment to knowing what the future will look like.
Yes,
and
yes.
You can engage in that and what that looks like when folks are seeming to fall apart, but yet you have to still maneuver and push through everything and have a plan of action.
Yes, yes.
Areas that motivate us and support us, where folks who have been hit by change have gotten stuck.
That's
What you are doing is bridging and pulling forth and bringing them into the now, into the moment, into the movement, and letting them know that we are in this journey together and we're striving to achieve excellence, equity, and equality.
Here we go.
That's right. And part of it is about, redefining what a queer issue is.
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's like, yes, do we need federal non-discrimination, federal protections for LGBTQ people? Yes. Was marriage a good thing? Absolutely. We need all of those things. And voter disenfranchisement is an LGBTQ issue.
Yes, it is.
Right? Housing access is an LGBTQ issue.
A big one.
The overwhelming majority of young people on the streets are queer youth.
Yes.
Right? So prison reform is an LGBTQ issue.
Yes, it is.
And so that's where I want us to dig in and really own that, right? And really expand and branch out into, deeper partnerships across other movements and with other organizations that maybe we haven't had as deep of relationships with in the past.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
And that's what we are looking forward to.
Yes.
Rayceen is looking forward to the new partnership with the task force and what that would look like.
Yes.
Because we bring an element of all of these different dynamics from age, this, that, et cetera, and blending it and coming in and working with the task force and say, here we are, use us. We are.
We love that.
Everything about it.
We look forward to the future so much. We look forward to the future to see how we can really, get this together, do this together, and really, 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 strive and do this change in the community. So important.
That's right.
Yeah, so
this is what DC looks like.
This is what DC looks like.
Hello.
I love it.
Hello.
This is the District of Columbia, honey. We love it. We love it.
That's right.
For the viewers that are out there watching, how can they follow and keep up with the LGBTQ task force? And if they would like to support it, how can they go about and do that?
Yes, absolutely. You can definitely come to the taskforce.org. All of our social media are platforms are accessible by there, the task force. And I hope that we see you at our virtual Creating Change. We also have a landing page called creatingchange.org. Registration will be open soon. I think it may be open already. And it's going to be a blast, and we'd love to have your participation. And as far as supporting us, you know what? Join us on our social media. from $5 to $5,000, every gift helps us do our work better. It helps us be better and do better. And so whatever you can do one time or be a sustainer, we welcome your participation in that way.
Oh, thank you so much, Kierra. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the work that you're doing in our community.
Thank you.
Best of luck on the new position in the new year.
Well, check back on me in a couple months. I start in February. I expect an email or a video call or something like, girl, you all right?
We will. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And most of all, thank you for watching.